So, to prevent misunderstanding, I'm going to tell this story in the light. There's been a lot of speculation about where Can't Run, the movie I'm creating, actually came from. A lot of you noticed, and a lot more new people noticed, that between when I first started posting and when I stopped posting, there was a huge chunk of time, around 5 to 6 months of not posting anything, when I said it would be only around 2. And some of you caught up to that and asked, why were you gone for such a long time? Well, let's just say there were some complications with creating a movie that I never thought of before. Since Can't Run is going to be officially my first official horror movie, there was a lot more than because of the budget that I have laid out for. Of course, the movie is going to be around, I would say, 85 minutes or so, like a traditional actual movie. Now, producing a video that long is going to take a lot of upload time and a lot of work. So, to make up for the content lost and the idea to have a whole planned out movie, I need to experience a lot more than just what's in this house. So, I decided to take a less than comfortable vacation to a place. I spent time there, made new friends, experienced pain, torture, hell, you could say all of that, and came out with a storyboard about the experiences and the encounters I've had there. Now, from what I could tell you, the place I went to, there was suffrage, there was pain, and more importantly, for all ghost investigations, people have died. So each night, I would go out around and do a little investigation with a trusty flashlight. This one. But unfortunately, even though this super strong flashlight with over 3,000 lumens was apparently not bright enough to light up the entire atmosphere of the place I went to. So tonight, as I'm recording this at 9:45 Pacific time, I'm going to share with you a story I experienced while I was there. So, let's see. It was just like a regular Thursday night. I was doing a nightly investigation / patrol. So with my trusty flashlight in hand, I switched to night vision mode, the red light, if you have one. This is the flashlight I used because this was didn't have a red light. So I was walking around with a partner. He decided to stay back while I did patrol the whole area. And I started hearing this tapping noise. It sounded like tapping on glass, like this. Well, more like glass, but you know what I mean, the tapping noise. So I'm like, hold on a minute. I looked around the room. There's no windows in this room, I just realized. There are never windows in this room. So where could this glass tapping sound came from? And then I look around, and I realize, hold on a minute. There's no glass at all in this room. So I thought, what else could be made of glass besides glass? Looking around, and I just look around and I see what's around me: beds, people, and my partner, who I left back at a desk. So to make sure I'm not going crazy, I went back to my partner on the direction I went over there. On my way there, I hear the tapping getting louder and louder and louder. And I see a distant light. And I'm like, there it is, my partner. Does he hear this? So I walk close to the light. Then I see the light just starts to turn on and off, on and off and on and off. And finally on and then off. And I'm like, okay, something isn't right. So I whip out my flashlight, turn it to the bright mode, not the night mode, and I shine it. And what do you know? My partner isn't there anymore. And I'm like, oh goody, you're pranking me. So I walked to the desk and said, haha, very funny guys. You can come out now, I know you're pranking me. But what's different is that he wasn't pranking me. He wasn't there. And I'm like, am I going insane? And look in the room and everything seems fuzzy to me. And I'm like, am I losing my goddamn mind since I've been here for so long, doing all these investigation explorations at nighttime? Am I slowly going insane? So then I woke up all the people there. But he would not wake up. What's stranger is that nobody that I was trying to contact was waking up. And I'm like, okay, this must be some kind of sick joke. And then I'm like, maybe I'm dreaming. So I pinch myself. Ouch. And I'm like, okay, I'm not dreaming. Something is going on. So I went to the head, or the latrine, or the bathroom, pushed it open, and walked inside. All the lights were off. Now this is unnatural. Because the bathroom at this point at nighttime usually is lit up. Because there are motion sensor lights. I walked around and the lights would not turn on. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's a power outage. That would explain why his lights flickering on and off. But then I'm like, hold on a minute. The lights are battery powered. A power outage wouldn't affect battery, right? So I'm like, okay, something's going on here. So I take this trusty flashlight, the very bright one, I walked around and I shined it and I realized, wait a second. This seems odd. As I shine it to each bed, there's no one in the beds. So when I didn't have flight, who was I waking up? So I walked around to each of the beds that I encountered, and it's just an empty mattress. No sheets, no blankets, no pillows. More importantly, no person. And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I here alone? Then suddenly you hear the tapping again. I'm like, okay. I'm definitely not alone. There's no glass, but I hear tapping noises with glass. So I take this flashlight and I walked around closer and closer to the tapping noise. Then I see it. There, in the latrines, is a window. And I'm like, I never noticed this window was here. And I looked in the window. I shined the light, but now since there's light and the outside is dark, if you know how this works, dark windows cast reflections if the inside of the area you're in is bright and the outside is dark. Then I see it. There was someone behind me. I spin around. No one's there. I turn back. Someone's there. So, not being creeped out at all, because I do not know what I'm communicating with. It looked like a normal guy. And I just said, since the only way I can see him, I left the window. I said, why can I not see you behind me? He says, do not worry about it. We're different realities. But whatever you're going to do not keep investigating. Go to a random bed, lay down, and sleep. Trust me. You'll feel much better when you wake up. And I ask him, I don't know who the heck you are, but how And why would I trust you? And why do you say different dimension? There's only one reality. You're not tricking anybody, fool. I'm pretty sure I'm going insane and my mind just making you up because I feel alone. He says that's not the occasion at all. You need to trust me for this one. Go to bed, sleep, and you feel much better when you wake up. And I said, what if I don't? And he said this sentence that will chill me to my core for as long as I live. He said this: it's your choice to make. Sleep or not sleep. If you sleep, you will have a better tomorrow. But if you don't, this loop of you going around in circles, slowly driving you down a spiraling depression and insanity, will slowly, bit by bit, consume you, and you will never break out of this endless loop. So, the choice is yours to make. A better tomorrow or worse today. And then, as soon as that happened, he faded into mist. And I'm like, okay, so do I choose insanity or do I choose tomorrow? So I made the brilliant choice to go around this flashlight once more and make sure that I truly was alone. Then I picked the bed, laid down, and went to sleep. Now I woke up in a room, bright lights all around me. And I'm like, I'm in a different bed. And I wonder what happened to me. Then I see it. My friends rushed in. It's like, oh my gosh, you're finally awake. And then it hit me. And this is exactly what happened that night occurred. So, me and a few of my friends, during a stormy night, decided to go investigate an abandoned building. We all had our equipment, our GoPros, our flashlights, and our spirit boxes. At the entrance, we decided to split up and investigate different parts of the area. This is a 4-story abandoned house. The attic, the second story, the first story, and the basement. Now I chose to investigate where most scary stuff would happen. The basement. Dumb decision on my part. That'll be said later. So I was in the basement, looking around, looking at all the creepy stuff and all the random weirdness. And then I'm like, okay, I see on the floor, there's graffiti. There's writing on the walls. Then I walk a little bit further to the basement. Then I see it on the wall, written what appears to be ketchup, says, "This is where the devil lays. Play a game." So I busted out my trusty ghost equipment, motion sensors, spirit boxes, music boxes, REM pods, and cat balls, and I set up a Ouija board session. Now, I did not use the Ouija board, I just set it there for the creepiness hunt. So I took my headphones, these ones, and Bluetooth connected it to the spirit box and blindfolded myself and decided to go under the Essence method by myself. Now, if you notice, the Essence method is hard to do by yourself. But you know, I did it by myself anyways. So I would ask a question that I would hear for an answer. And the first question I asked is anybody here with me? Through the choppy radio frequencies, I hear, yes, I'm here. But I asked, who is this? And it did not respond with a name. They said, a spirit. And I'm like, okay. And then he hears the spirit box before he asks the question. They asked, "Why are you here?" In clear as day evidence. And I'm like, okay, I'm here to investigate. So I was communicating with the spirit for a bit, and then I asked a question. And the spirit box just decided to stop working on me after I asked this question. I asked a question. How do I know you're not going to hurt me? A few questions led up to that, like, are you good or are you evil? Are you good or bad? Or do you want to hurt me anyway? And I asked that question. How do I know you're not going to hurt me? Because he told me I'm not evil. Trust me. So I asked, how do I know you're not going to hurt me? The spirit box cut out, and I heard a huge bang come from right around me. And I looked, and I see there is a room I haven't realized before. So I'm like, okay, it came in this room. So I grabbed my trusty GoPro, this camera here, this GoPro, and I walked in the room with this flashlight, a backpack, and a few other lights. And I walk in this room, I see this huge open room. There seems to be bunk beds stuck on top of each other. And then I'm pretty sure you connect the dots. I see there's people in these beds. I'm like, oh shoot. There's something wrong with this. This is an abandoned building. Why were the people in these beds? And then the partner, which was a fake bear of my friend, comes down and comes find me. And he says, I heard the bang. Do you want us to look around? So I let him into the room. He goes over there to a desk and sits down. And I do my little investigation. He disappears. The people disappears. Then I go into the bathroom. The lights doesn't turn on. Remember, this sounds very familiar because of what I told you at first. Then it hit me. I connected the dots. And I connected while I was in the hospital. The large bang I heard wasn't from a room. It was from a ceiling tile that fell on top of me. It knocked me out and put me into a scenario, a sort of knockout dream. Now that all seems good and all that, being in a creepy place, they obviously ended the investigation and found me knocked out on the floor. But what stuck with me is that after the incident, I drew down a picture of the guy I saw in the mirror. I don't have the picture with me because I don't know where it went. Surprisingly, I lost it. But when I showed the picture to my friends, they were like, do you know who this guy is? And I'm like, I don't know, I saw him in the mirror. And he's like, we didn't tell you, but this picture strongly resembles, and I hope their phone showed me, this guy. And I'm like, who is this guy? He's like, you know how we said we're gonna go investigate a place today? I'm like, yeah, this is the place, right? They're like, yes. We did not tell you this. But this guy and the photo you drew is the original owner of this house that passed away 175 years ago. I'm like, so he's like, somehow you're being knocked out. Probably thin or thinned or whatever the word you want to use. Made this world and the next, where the line blurs and you're able to cross into each other. This is a very interesting theory. And I thought, if I got knocked out and the line did blur between this and the next, and if you don't know what I mean, the present world and the afterlife, crossed over and is able to connect with this guy. And he told me to sleep and wake up for a better tomorrow or a worse today. And I finally clicked for me. A better tomorrow is waking up in the real world to live another day. And the worst today if I do not sleep, which means I will never wake. If I don't sleep, I don't wake up. There's no waking up if I don't sleep. And then it hit me exactly what he meant. After I got knocked out, I was out cold, like not conscious. In a word, induced coma. This entire time I got knocked out by that ceiling tile, I fell into unconscious coma-like state. And if I do not wake up, I'll be stuck in the afterlife for a worse today than a better tomorrow. But if I were to sleep, being able to transfer my spirit or my body to the present world, I could wake up and have a better tomorrow. Now, is that story crazier than what you've ever heard? So, to break it down for you, haunted investigation, ceiling tile falls on top of my head, knocks me out cold. I find the spirit of the guy who owned the place I went to. He says that if I don't sleep, I can't wake up, because if you don't sleep, there's no waking up. Which means I'll be stuck in the afterlife. But if I choose to sleep, I have a chance of waking up in the real world for better tomorrow. So there it is. The story of when a ghost literally saved my life. That's why I chose the movie title, Don't Run. It is to simplify for not to run from every haunted investigation, because you might not know this, but ghosts are not always meant to be scary. The Don't Run film is the exact recreation of what I think happened during the time I was out. It is going to be a haunted investigation produced solely by me and a team behind the cameras of a reiteration of what happened the entire time. Now, if you're going to be like, you've already spoiled the story for us, why won't we watch Don't Run? Let me tell you this. I told you the story in the first part. Don't Run is different. And it's going to be a separate investigation. And I'm going to answer the question that you've all been asking for. Is this house really a paranormal concert ground, or is it just a bunch of phony baloney clickbait videos? I'm going to do a full-blown investigation for hours and hours and hours. Now, you've already seen the trailer, right? Well, some things might be chalked to, oh, your friend was there, or, oh, this is, I don't know, sound effects. But, what I tell you is that there's going to be no cuts and Don't Run. It should be with me, recording with the phone, for the entire time. No cuts, no edits, no special effects. You hear that, ghosts? This is your time to shine, to finally prove to my viewers. Actually, I take it back. Don't Run is a movie. Anything can happen in a movie. I want to try to make as little cuts as possible while I'm doing the investigation. Part of the transition to the investigation will be fun, though. That will be fun. But you guys will see. Everything you guys want to see. Now, there is one detail left out on the investigation. When I first went to the basement, there was a very eerie feeling that I got. Like that I'm not alone there. Now, I decided not to tell the rest of my friends this, or anybody else in that matter, until now. I feel like I have to get that off of my chest. So, my friends, unnamed, if you're watching this, please tell me it is not your bedtime, because this might, in a way, surprise you at the least. Any viewers, if you're bad at having nightmares after hearing a story, I suggest you click off this video and watch some happy videos. For examples, maybe videos that are not scary. I don't know, if you plan on sleeping tonight, or you like scary stories, stay tuned. Here it goes. So, I went into the basement, right? Had this trusty flashlight. It's how white it is, you can see. It's pretty bright. I shine that around, looking for anything that can indicate something. And out of the corner of my eye, off to my left where the flashlight was not shining at, I see a dark across the room, so I quickly turned back. You see how bright this flashlight is, honestly. And there it is. Face to face with the most scariest thing a human can ever see in an abandoned house, standing right in front of me, just a few feet away from my face, was the creepiest thing a human or anybody can ever encounter. A fully dressed in complete white, standing still in front of my face as I stared into its deep, hollow eyes. The figure and the absolute abomination it is. A mannequin. But not just any mannequin. A fully new mannequin with white clothes that doesn't have a single wear or tear to it. A completely, perfectly porcelain white mannequin.